Today, we're going to talk about rats, mice, squirrels, and any other creature that can get into your rig. Okay, you may be asking, why are you on the floor and what's with all the blue tape? Well, if you've been following this video channel, you'll know that last week I wallpapered the walls. Oh, damn, I'm leaning against the paint that I just painted. Ah, no. Okay, it's just a little tacky. Oh dear. Well, anyway, I was painting this today because last week when you saw me, I was laying this wallpaper on. I went through that whole technique, so I won't do it here, but you can look at that video if you'd like. And today I just finished applying the second of 2 coats of paint on this thing. My shirt will prove it. Oh dear me. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the painting, although I'll just scan it for those of you who are interested in last week's video. I'll just show you the finished product. So without leaning against this paint, having had to pull this couch away to get at the wall so I could wallpaper and paint and expose the furnace, it made me think of something. A couple of years ago, we found a rat in this furnace. And I'm not talking about a dead rat. It was alive when I started the furnace. It was dead by the time the furnace got going. And I'll tell you about that story. You know, we're about to put Monty away, our motorhome away for the season. We're going to be heading south in January, February. But for our Canadian winter, we're going to tuck him inside this barn in about a week. Heated barn, so he's really lucky this year. And I just thought, you know, I should talk more about what happened 2 years ago because I did a video on it, but it wasn't a good video. It was our second video. And I thought I would just relive that one again for you because it's really important to check for rodents in your rig, especially when you're putting them away and especially when you're bringing them out. Okay, in a nutshell, here's the story. It was fall. I had just brought Monty into a storage area where I could work on him. We had just come away from a very hot summer, and I turned the furnace on because I needed warmth while I was working. And the furnace started and then stopped. And then I shut it down. I turned it on again, and it started, and it made a funny sound, so I shut it down again. I tried it one more time, and this time, all of a sudden, it was like it broke free. And the fan started whirring and it made its regular sound. And I thought, oh, good, things are back on track. But it wasn't right. I knew something was wrong because it was almost shorting out. So I pulled the couch away. I took this cowling off, and I'm just showing you pictures of when I did that. And inside, I found a little fur ball. It was a rat. Now that rat, I surmised, had been alive when I turned the furnace on. It was inside our furnace. And when the furnace stopped, it was because that rat got caught in the fan and it jammed it. And therefore the furnace stopped working. It made kind of weird sounds. When I tried it that third time, my theory is the fan kicked again and kicked the body away and it started working just fine. But where I found the rat really distressed me because I thought if I had not taken this cowling off and looked at the inspection ports in this furnace on the trip that we were about to take south through the US and into Mexico, we would have been blowing hot air over the carcass of a dead rat. So it made me think there's probably a lot of RVs out there with dead rodents in their systems, and checking this furnace is so important. So please, if you take anything from this video, just realize the importance of checking your furnace several times a year. And I know some of you are going to say that's a real pain because all furnaces aren't as accessible as this one. They're in little cupboards and they're hard to get at. But you should be able to get at your furnace. And even if you say, no, that's way too, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take all that apart. At least get access to it enough to take a picture on your smartphone or a camera and then blow that up just expand that picture, and it's amazing what you can see with smartphones. And if you see something in there that doesn't look quite right, like a little fur ball, well, then you need to get further into your furnace. So in our case, it was very easy to get this off. You just unscrew these bolts. There's about 6 screws around the perimeter of this. This cowling comes off, and then you've got your furnace. You can open it up and you can check it. So checking is one thing, but the obvious question is, and it was raised by one of our viewers in a recent video where I was showing the bays underneath Bonnie, the basement bays in our motorhome, our 32-foot Beaver motorhome. And his question was, how do you keep squirrels and mice and other things out of those bays? So it's a really good question. So it's not enough just to check your furnace. You may find something in there, but there could be other places where there are rats. And the big point is, how can you keep them out of your rig? Because you don't want to be just having to check all the time, not knowing where they're coming in. So this is what we do. A couple of things. Number one, we check the vents fairly frequently. The floor vents, we have 3. There's one by the front steps as you enter the coach. There's one by the kitchen, and there's one in the bedroom. Oh, sorry, there's 4, and there's one in the bathroom. So those 4 vents can lift off, and it's amazing what you can see when you stick a smartphone into a cavity, like a vent in the floor, and just get the right angle and take a picture. And the chances are you'll see something in there for at least the first 2 or 3 feet. As well, in our motorhome, in the bay area, there are a couple of inspection boxes that you can slide open. It's just a sheet metal door that slides. And it's amazing, as we all know, it's amazing how small a hole, for instance, a mouse can get into, or a rat. Their bodies just compress almost to nothing and they can get through the smallest of hole. So just check everywhere in the main basement area of your rig, especially around the hot water tank, any place where it's warm, because during the wintertime, they're coming in for warmth. Just as that rat was coming into this furnace, I'm sure, to keep warm. Oh, how do you know I was going to turn it on then? Oh, it's a pretty smart rat. And the other thing that we've done is we've sprayed peppermint oil in areas where we want to protect the wiring. We spray peppermint oil into the nose cone of Maudie. I know, that sounds like you're spraying something up the nose of your motorhome. I'm talking about the nose cone. The fiberglass nose cone on our motorhome is quite large. You can actually climb right inside it. And there are a lot of wires in there. So we just spray peppermint oil all over that place, all over that thing. It just sprayed my face.
That could be very hard on your eyes. It smells like diesel fuel and candy canes.
It does. I have no sense of smell. As well, we spray peppermint oil around the hot water tank, thinking that if they got in there, that's an ideal spot for a nest. And we also make sure that we always plug up the vent to the furnace. We didn't do that for the first couple of years, and I suspect that could be where this rat got in, because even though it's 4 or 5 feet up the side of the RV, I don't know. I think these things can spring up into those holes. So make sure that your outlet for your furnace is plugged when you put it away. Just make sure that you do something so obvious that you don't forget to unplug it when you start up the next season. Now, several of my most recent videos have been kind of long, and 2 people have said to me, I talk too much. So this video is dedicated to those 2 people who say I talk too much. Bye.